Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. This is just getting a few quick pieces of news out of the way before hopefully we have some bigger news to talk about tomorrow, because the Viacom CBS investors event is tomorrow and we maybe expect some Avatar Studios news. But let's cover the stuff that's happened before that. So, bit of action figure news. I think a lot of people miss this one. Is that loyal subjects who make the best action line of Avatar figures have posted some images of, I suppose, an actual physical version of the Zuko toy. So here's what it looks like. Overall, pretty good. Fire accessories here, the fireballs. Only issue I'd see based off this first picture is just that I don't think the hair is done particularly well. It's not sort of it feels like the hair is like cut a little bit too short is the way I'd sort of put it, which is like the opposite problem that Diamond Select had, where it felt like they made the hair too long and it sort of covered too much of the face. This is, I think it's okay around the front, but then it seems to just like stop here, where we'll get to an image later where they do show like a piece of art, like official art of Zuko, and you can see the difference. Again, you can sort of see it here because his face is very head on, that it does feel like the hair just sort of stops quite high up. Maybe the neck also feels a little big, but it might just be the way the articulation works. Similarly, the neck also maybe looks a bit weird on this picture, but that might just be because they have Zuko directly facing the camera here. Here's the other head. This is an alternate head that this Zuko comes with. This is what they showed as the concept art for this figure. And everyone was like, you gotta fix this. You have to fix that hair. That is just blatantly not the hair Zuko has in this outfit. Don't even know why it necessarily comes with this figure, because as you see, the final picture in box, they actually give him the different head as the one that's on the figure in the packaging. And the alternate head in the packaging, at least, is the actual accurate Book 3 Zuko. And here you can see in the brand new, like last year or two piece of Zuko art, the hair that he has here does come down a little bit more. Whereas on the figure, the hair seems to just sort of stop around here. But you can see it is still, it's a little bit more spiky out on the sides and the back as well. Whereas you can sort of see here, it feels like it's very reined in, which kind of gives it a bit of a weird look. But still, these figures look pretty good. And you can see like they have the nicest, I think, blend of just looking accurate, having good articulation, and having a decent amount of accessories. And that it comes with the swords, the fire, multiple hands. That seems pretty good, but yeah, like what's the point of the alternate head here for Zuko? Because unless they put out a Book 2 Zuko where this hairstyle matches a specific outfit, but then if they do that body's going to come with the accurate head for it. So it still makes this head feel a little bit just like pointless and useless, because Zuko's never in this outfit with his hair like that. So I don't get it. It just feels needless. Maybe it's just a thing where like the way they do their figures or the Avatar figures, like they have to have an alternate head and they couldn't really come up with another one for Zuko, but just do an alternate expression. It just seems really weird that they did that. But anyway, we'll move on to, I suppose, just before we mention the investors event, Avatar News actually posted a few little pieces of exclusive information that he seems to have. He doesn't mention like where he got this from, of like, is it like an insider, so that's why he can't say where it came from, or if he just found something somewhere. But he seems to reveal 3 new people that we didn't know, who are now part of Avatar Studios, as well as an extra piece of information about Lauren Montgomery. So Christy Zhang has joined Avatar Studios as Executive Art Director. William New has joined as Art Director. The other one here is Steve On is the head of storyboard on the Avatar Studios movie. And then the Lauren Montgomery news is that we knew that she was a director. We already found that out a few weeks ago, that she was a director as part of Avatar Studios. But he seems to confirm here that she is confirmed to be directing the movie. The movie is the first project. It's confirmed she's directing it. Now, that's a reasonable leap based on the fact that we knew she was a director and that the movie was the first thing. But this news seems to be directly linking the two, that Potentially it might be announced soon, I guess, potentially. So that is quite interesting, just that whatever information behind the scenes that he's got, finally they're actually like talking about people as they're a part of the team on the movie. Whereas everything up to now has been, all we can say for sure is that these people are part of Avatar Studios, but there's no immediate way to assess what way they are with regards to the projects, different individual projects. So, we'll find out how this works. This makes sense. I think this was something pretty inevitable once we found out she was part of the team. She was always going to be in one of these key roles, and this makes complete sense. Mike and Brian are not going to have the time to be the huge, showrunner role on every single project, so they have to give big roles like director to people like Laura Montgomery, while they're doing so it's more of a supervisory role from the background on all projects. Interesting stuff. I know a lot of people seem like, ooh, is this a good idea? Because Voltron seems to have a bit of a weird reputation since it ended. I don't get why everyone seems to have turned so much on Voltron. I get some of the stuff towards the ending was a bit frustrating, but I still view that as being a pretty high quality show overall, and one that I really enjoyed for the most part, start to finish, outside of one or two little things that held it back a bit. But it's still up there as being like one of my more favorite animated shows for sure. So I don't really view like, ooh, the issues of Voltron might affect an new Avatar project, just because there's different people involved. It's a different franchise. That's just the way things are. So that leads us into this, the investors event. This is the page that you're going to be going to tomorrow if you want to watch the event. I'll have a link in the description to this page if you want to look at it. So investors event, February 15th, 4:15 ET. Virtual doors open at 4. Join us and see how our global content is fueling the growth of Paramount Plus with a preview of what's coming next. So the description on the news post that we had before about this event didn't overly lean towards like it's going to be a preview of upcoming stuff. Now they seem to be using that as more or less the tagline for this, that this is a lot of what they will talk about. So that's good, because I was maybe a little bit more hesitant because they didn't use wording that overly made it seem like it was going to be about previews, but now they are. So I think that definitely leans towards like, yeah, they probably will mention Avatar Studios. They probably have to. So yeah, this is the page you're going to go to check it out, which leads us into the final thing here. I'll just use this poll that I put up to get our final speculation out of the way. So I just asked people, what did they expect from Avatar Studios at the investors event next week? Not even mentioned, repeat of stuff we know, small update, logo, title, just very basic stuff, but we actually find out something new. And then the other one, significant new information, otherwise like, big news, like more than we expected. And you can see the way the results are so far, from only 52 votes, but my people who follow me on Twitter, so people who have kind of views mostly in line with mine, hardcore fans, this is where we're thinking. Interestingly, very low, only 7.7% of people saying not even mentioned. So people are expecting them to at least acknowledge Avatar Studio exists and say something again a year on from the announcement. And I think that's fair enough. Part of that is that, if not here, then when will they say something? There's just a sense of like desperation, like they have to say something. And I would be surprised if it doesn't get mentioned at all. Repeat of what we know, 30% of the vote. Now, obviously this is a sense where like if they basically just say what they said last time out. Announce, Avatar Studios is still working on stuff, movie, series, they mentioned the plan for it. And like, this is a thing where like, even if they say stuff like the first thing they're doing is a movie, unless they actually say something that we don't know about the movie, you can't really say that it's news about Avatar Studios. There's stuff that we know already, and we don't want them to just reword it and repeat it. basically 52% of people saying small update, logo, title. And that's what I've been saying the whole time since this event got announced. I think where we are in production of, we've just found out about basically a lot of people recently joining the team. Like, let's go back to this for a second. I forgot to mention this, actually. Steve On. This is the one of these four that I actually found something to at least suggest that this is actually true. Because on his Twitter, one of his most recent tweets is on February 9th, so only a few days ago. I've just accepted my next journey. I'm excited to share more details soon in the future. When I do, you got to deal with it. So I don't know if that's directly like making the Korra reference there to basically what Korra says in the first episode. I think it obviously is, just with the fact that new job, I guess. He could share details soon. We're sort of expecting the movie, the first Avatar Studios, to get announced soon. It definitely fits in line with the idea that like it's going to become public, a lot of the people who are actually working on the movie soon, I think. So, you know, stuff like that makes it feel like, oh, like are they ready to talk about it now? Probably. So that's the big thing of like, it's a year on. They mentioned Avatar Studios at the last investors event as like a big thing. It was the only, I think, new studio that they directly talked about. Everything else was just, here are some shows and properties that we have. But Avatar was the only thing during that whole event where it was like, we have made an entire new studio for this franchise to do more stuff with. So it was a rather, you know, big announcement, even though it was only about 30 seconds of the overall event last time out. But they do need to say something specific this time out. So it's been a year. And they said the movie was the first thing last year. So we've known about the movie being the first project for a very long time. You now need to say what it is. So what is the title? And I guess through the title, that is effectively going to reveal probably the era to us at the very least. Because I think most people would probably expect the movie to be something somewhat familiar. In that, like an ATLA movie with the characters older, feels like the obvious way to go if it is going to be in the cinemas. I think that feels like you have to play on the super well-known aspect of the franchise. Whereas, yes, creatively it would be kind of interesting to see them do a movie about something new. But for the success of the first project at Avatar Studios, are they going to do that? That is going to be very interesting to see how confident are they in a way. They could play it safe and do the Avatar movie and it would be a success. But do they maybe do a little bit more risky and be like, yeah, we're going to go with something more experimental to start off with? I'm not sure. A lot depends on what they do. But for me, just because it is a movie and it might have a theatrical run, I think you have to play on the ATLA name specifically and how popular it is. So basically title, logo, maybe a key visual. The impression I have with that is just that in the last year, surely you've done some sort of a stock piece of art, concept art, like the sort of Korra over Republic City, the first Korra image that we saw, that you can show us to give us just something to go on. Because we need a visual, we need a specific thing to refer to here. So we can stop just mentioning Avatar Studios as this vague thing that exists in the background and stop referring to the movie that is the first Avatar Studios project. And we can just call it whatever it's called. There's a lot of stuff that just make it easy for us to talk about this. Give us something to actually speculate on. Because if nothing is said tomorrow, I think there'll definitely be just a sense of, oh no, how long are we going to be waiting? How long is it going to take for us to actually get anywhere near new information on this thing? But yeah, I don't know. It in that sense, it's very difficult to get excited for it, especially because the event, it's likely to be, well, I guess like an hour and a half long. I can't remember exactly how long the event was before. But like I said, the actual Avatar section of that stream was only like 30-ish seconds. When they actually got around to that section, he talked about Avatar, the success of Avatar, and then final sort of 10 seconds just mentions, and we've got Avatar Studios, We learned more in the press release afterwards than we did from the video itself. And then you also have to remember that the articles from, like, I think it was Deadline who put it out first, put out their article in the middle of the investors event. So we actually found out about Avatar Studios through the news articles before they even got to it in the video. So that's another thing to keep your eye out for, is that because of press releases and when the news places get them, they might have the news. They probably do have the news before it does actually get revealed on stream. So there might be more to talk about just with stuff that happens around the video than the video itself. So just keep a lot of that stuff in mind. And also, obviously, expectations in check, which I think effectively is just, I think we are right as a fandom to expect a mention, an update on Avatar Studios. I think it is too much to expect something big or huge, because I can't even picture what a big announcement for Avatar Studios actually is, because it's an investors event. It's not a Comic-Con panel revealing an Avatar thing specifically. They're not going to go over like, here's the concept art for the main character and the secondary character and this character. Here's some background concept art. They're not going to do that like they would at a fan-specific event. If they have something to show, they'll just be like, Avatar's a popular thing for us. We're doing a movie. Here's a visual to go along with, the fact that there is a movie. The only thing that to me makes sense from a bigger perspective, in that given how early in production things are, is if they were to do not just the reveal for the movie, but also the reveal for the first series as well. So we sort of get the logo, title, first image treatment on like 2 projects for Avatar Studios at once. That's probably the only thing I can really picture as being something that will be more significant than what feels like the very obvious, just like, yeah, logo, title, like very basic, like you now know that this thing exists, it's sort of locked in now, and we can stop being vague about it. So yeah, that's basically it for the news. So in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are. The new Zuko figure, finally seeing some pictures of it. The little bits of Avatar Studios news about some new people. Lauren Montgomery seemingly confirmed as the director of the movie. The first Avatar Studios project. That's interesting. And then last time for speculation ahead of the event tomorrow. Do you think we're in for disappointment or excitement? But yeah, that has been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.